Game 2 of the current series. If you've not yet seen Game 1, you might want to go watch that first. There'll be a link in the description as well as in a button on the video. Game 2 now between DRG and Naniwa at the MLG Winter Championship pool play. DRG is up 1-0 against Naniwa currently. And he is spawning as the red Zerg on the nice jungly side of dual site, whereas Naniwa is the blue Protoss over on the lava side. So yeah, last game, DRG, unharassed, went up to his heavy macro mode and just threw a million roaches at Naniwa. And Naniwa wasn't really ready for it.
Yeah, very few are.
Naniwa did try with a push into DRG's third, but even at that point he was already outmassed and DRG was able to swat it away pretty easily with just a lot of roaches, and they did have the burrowing, so they went right under the force fields, completely negating the advantage that this could have given him.
Yep. Naniwa's scout arriving at DRG's base now. DRG's scout about halfway across the map.
Was scout early enough to see that there are no gases taken yet. Didn't see a spawning pool, and he moves right down to the natural. Of course, anticipating that quick expand.
DRG's drone apparently waiting a little bit. Now he's moving in now.
Moving in, checking the natural, and turning around for a moment. Now is headed for the ramp. And he sees the forge dropped a little quicker. He sees there's no gas yet. And he heads back out, sees the probe heading out towards the natural. Nope, probe's not heading towards the natural, he's just going to follow it though. Meanwhile, back at DRG's base, the spawning pool is about halfway done. And a drone is now coming out to the natural. Going to fight the probe. DRG has over 400 minerals banked. Here comes the second drone. Just waiting to get the probe out of the way to drop his hatchery. And he does. Meanwhile, DRG's drone has made it out of Naniwa's base. Saw everything, saw the gas timing.
Yep, Cybercore going down now.
Yeah, once again, the near but not quite wall of a gateway and a Cybercore for Naniwa. DRG is scouting around the corners of his base with his first 4 lings, making sure Naniwa didn't do anything tricky.
Yep, which he didn't yet, although there's a probe down here. It's about, I imagine, about to drop a proxy pylon. Or at least checking on the...
Scouting around the edges, behind the mineral line here at DRG's. Now heading to try and get up the ramp again. The Queen's going to poke at it though. Probe is able to get past the Queen though.
So that's 6 health though. Yeah, getting left alone by the drones.
Gonna get a copy of these lings, and is not allowed to get back down the ramp.
Yep.
Meanwhile, DRG's natural is finished.
Yeah, Naniwa has dropped his own natural.
Yep, he is chronoing out stalkers, working on the warp gate research.
A couple of zealots moving out.
Yeah, a couple of zealots dancing around the 4 zerglings in the middle. Zerglings just running away.
Just means there's something a little odd about that Zelnaga tower.
The limited duration one. Zerglings being chased away by the stalker here. Not quite finding an angle to push in at. Zergling's headed back towards Naniwa's base now. Naniwa has pulled his units back to the would-be mineral line of his natural. It's not established yet, though. And pushes Zerglings away.
Sort of checking things out.
Similar
DRG again. Just droning.
Droning and massing away. These lings just being annoying. Not one of them has died yet, despite taking damage periodically. Naniwa has arranged his natural similar to the last game, with the double warp gate wall leading between the ramp and the Nexus. Ling speed has kicked in. DRG still just trying to be annoying with these Lings, distracting. Not going for any kills in the middle line.
We're doing a warping of 2 warpings of Stalkers on the south side of the map.
I think also getting some Zealots. And now moving out with 4 Stalkers and 3 Zealots. 2 more Zealots joining in from the main base. But DRG's moving down here with some Lings, and he sees the proxy pylon. And now he sees the Stalkers. The Stalkers gonna kill the Lings. The Zealots are pushing over towards DRG's base though.
Yep, 3 Spine Crawlers can drop to the natural.
Yep, 2 of them dropped in plenty of time to be ready for this fight. The other one lagging behind a bit more. And Naniwa is pulling back. The Stalker's heading back towards the natural. The Zealots are idling here by what would be DRG's third.
Meanwhile, Zealots, or not Zealots, Zergling is cleaning up the proxy pylon.
Yep, momentarily supply blocking Naniwa.
We're about to catch this group of Zealots in the middle of the map.
Getting a nice run with the Zealots in the middle of the map. Right near the Zalaga Tower. Great exchange for DRG, who's now up 67 supply to 59 for Naniwa.
And he's still droning.
Yep, 47 drones and climbing fast to 41 probes. Large group of Lings darting around, taking a couple shots in the photon cannon. And pulling away from Naniwa's natural. Once again, the hallucination being researched for Naniwa. DRG getting the macro hatch in his main, working on the +1, or now +2 melee upgrade for the Lings.
Yep, one of the scout overlords gets in. Oh, Ling's poking in.
A couple force fields prevent them from getting a good angle, and they pull back.
Yep. A couple of the Stalkers got one of the scout overlords there a minute ago.
The Ling group has been whittled down. There's just 18 left. Pushing it once again. Lose 1 more. And now running away.
Yep. Roaches in production. Naniwa adding on the 3 new gateways in Twilight Council. Macro hatch just finishing up. Creep highways coming along decently.
A very narrow creep highway, just jutting out straight across the map, not going for complete coverage, just more literally to the highway metaphor, making a highway. Just a line. Lings run into the army, don't really want any of that, just run away. And Naniwa is moving out of the center now. And he turns around after having activated the tower, very briefly. Naniwa's down at 90 supply to DRG's 114.
Both hallucinated phoenixes sort of checking out everything that DRG has.
DRG is
Robo Bay on the way.
Massing banelings and roaches, loading up banelings onto overlords. Now those overlords are headed out across the map, as are the roaches and more Lings. Naniwa sees it, thanks to Phoenix, fake Phoenix. Large group of Stalkers, decent number of sentries reinforcing it. Just a few Zealots here, ready to receive this baneling drop plus roaches and Lings. Force fields prevent the Zerg army from charging in quite yet. A bunch of Lings die. DRG pulls back for the moment. More Lings joining in.
Wonderful
Force
angle on
fields
these
expire.
overlords.
Pushing back in again. Starts dropping banelings on top of the Stalkers. Roaches getting in. Banelings doing great damage to the Stalkers.
Yeah, it was wonderful execution on the baneling drop. The one empty overlord closest to the Stalkers did end up dying.
Yeah, Roaches taking the advantage of the Stalkers. Just a few Stalkers left now. And more units streaming in for DRG. DRG's now regrouping a little bit. And pulling out for now. 11 stalkers remaining around Naniwa's mineral line. Behind this, DRG is taking a third over by the 9 o'clock position north of his main. Taking a few pot shot attacks at the warp gates here. And just regrouping. Behind this, he is starting to build mutas. There's 11 on the way.
Bunch of stalkers blink on top of a roach to try to kill it, but it survives it barely.
DRG is up at 119 supply to Naniwa's 86. Mutas are now out and on the move.
DRG loads a bunch of Zerglings into some overlords. It's not dropping them on the high ground.
DRG continue to dance around and just be a little annoying with these remaining roaches and lings. Just holding Naniwa in.
So everyone's going to town on the both probes and a couple warp ends.
Yeah, getting decent contact, but they're being cleaned up now. And up in the front, Naniwa has cleaned up the last of those roaches. And for now, Naniwa stabilizes. But the muta flock is coming.
Yep, with more on the way, as well as upgrades.
You have Baneling speed also on the way, plus 1 attack for the mutas. First 11 mutas coming into the main mineral line. Get rid of 1 stalker very quickly, and now clearing up probes. More stalkers coming in though to chase them away. And the mutas are forced away. They didn't suffer a casualty, but 1 got very low. 2 got very low.
Most of the probes actually survived that portion of the attack. I think most of them died to the Zerglings so far. There's a fairly large group of Zerglings and mutas meeting back up.
Yep, total worker kills for DRG is up at 20. Mutas fly right into the stalkers. Take a lot of unnecessary damage. And of course they fly away. Just poking around, going for a different angle. While DRG continues to mass lings as well. He has 2 balls of lings, one of them converting into banelings.
Yep, as they're being organized under some overlords, so.
While Naniwa has warped in a bunch of zealots at a proxy pylon in the south. Or 6 zealots anyway. While DRG moves in towards the natural. Force fields preventing lings from getting good contact. Muta's just flying straight into the stalkers, going for mass. And DRG is fails.
Yeah, actually getting pushed away pretty solidly.
Yeah, he's pushed away quite firmly. Most of his mutas make it out, but he did lose a few, and Naniwa has a large army remaining. Naniwa's at 117 supply overall to DRG's 128. In the middle, the zealots are caught by the mutas. Stalkers blink up, save a few of the zealots. DRG rolls in with a bunch of banelings and lings right into the stalkers. Massive damage on the stalkers from the banelings. Now the muta's easily able to clean up the immortals that were behind, and the lings chasing away a couple stalkers. Another group of reinforcing stalkers now just running right with the other stalkers. Stopping and engaging the lings for now. Naniwa down at 69 supply to DRG's 126. Pushing in with lings and mutas right on top of these stalkers. Naniwa's natural.
1 corruptor joining DRG's army. Not sure what it's hoping to shoot at.
DRG up at 131 supply to Naniwa's 67. Morphing a bunch more banelings right outside Naniwa's base. Poking around with the mutas. Not engaging yet. More units just streaming across the map, both lings and mutas. DRG just waiting to deliver the final blow, it looks like. He's rolling in now with banelings. Mass explosion. Almost
that Nexus goes down very
Nexus
quickly.
goes down with a little bit of help from mutas and lings. Now lings and mutas engaging stalkers. And Naniwa just calls GG, having lost his natural.
Yeah, mining at his main is basically done.
Yeah, Naniwa had very little mining left. It was only on 1 base anyway to Naniwa's 3, or to DRG's 3. And once again, DRG unharassed and just Naniwa not quite able to keep up with the mass of units being thrown at him.
Yeah, he did a good job of repelling a few of those attacks, though. It wasn't bad. It was just one of those things where DRG gets this sort of build in his head, and he says, you know, this game, this is how I'm going to kill this person. And if he's not harassed, that's exactly what happens. It's just a question of how long it takes.
A few of those engages did look good for Naniwa, but ultimately he did have more resources lost for the units, so it wasn't like DRG was entirely relying on simply having too much more economy and being able to be sloppy, though. There were great engages for him, such as in the middle there in one of those later engagements where the Banelings just did massive damage. But yeah, anyway, that does give the series to DRG 2-0.